In this video, we will go through the process of generating a statistical report for each of the batches that are produced from the different recipes that take place in our process. For each batch of each recipe, we will calculate the total cooling water consumption from this tag of the flow variable. It could also apply to the consumption of other raw materials or the production of the same process. At the end of the video, we are going to explain how to calculate these daily reports based on the day instead of based on batches or recipes. Going back to the first example, the first step we need to do is find all of the batches that are being produced regardless of the recipe. This can be done using the search menu on the left. We'll start a value-based search where we want to find all of the periods where the product tag is constant regardless of the recipe. We will indicate at least 20 minutes to exclude transition periods. The results that we will get will correspond to the first week of January, which is the period that we have defined in our context bar. After searching, we found 107 results, which are listed below. The next step is to identify the recipe to which each batch corresponds, as well as the total cooling water consumption. To accomplish this, we will add calculations to our search results. These two calculations will be added from the Add Calculation menu. First, we add a calculation to identify the recipe, which is indicated by the product variable tag. We'll select the initial value. However, in this case, the final value is also valid. The value of the name, in this case, of the recipe, will now be displayed for each result. The second calculation we will add will be the cooling water consumption, where we will take the flow and calculate its integral, which multiplies the value of the flow by time. By multiplying the flow rate by time, we get a total amount of water consumed. An important thing to note is that TrendMiner assumes the base units of the flow variable are expressed per day. For example, liters per day. If the reality is that the flow is expressed in hours, we will simply multiply the results obtained by 24. We can now add the calculations and apply. By doing a quick check, we see that the recipe, as well as the water consumption, are displayed next to the list of results. Now, we will choose the recipe as the base calculation and sort the results by recipe. In the three dots, we select Order by Calculation, and now they are ordered by recipe. Finally, once they are sorted, we will export them to an Excel file where we can work with them. I can also do this by accessing the three dots to the right. However, first let me flatten the list. After flattening, if I click those three dots again and scroll to the bottom, I see Export. I will export the list, select all results, and choose the time zone. We now have a notification in our inbox saying that our report is ready to be downloaded. After opening, we can see that the first sheet shows the details of the search, and the second shows the results with the start date, end date, and duration. The recipe and consumption data for each of the batches is shown. Right now, we are looking at the Kappa batches with their cooling water consumption. The other recipe data is shown below. If instead we wanted to look at the reports by day, we would simply have to take into account the day tag, that is shown here. As you can see, this tag changes to indicate each day. In this case, instead of searching by periods where the product is constant, we would simply search by periods where the day is constant. From here, we should simply add calculations for cooling water and even the recipe if we still want to know which recipe was being consumed that day.